It is the year 2624 in Lijiang City. At the Second Academy, all the students have gathered for the class awakening ceremony. Luo Heng, the headmaster, welcomes the students and explains that the first awakening determines a person's future. He advises students not to change their classes immediately after awakening combat classes. Becoming a summoner or an engineer requires significant resources, making these classes inaccessible to ordinary people. They are only suited for the wealthy. Many students place their hopes and desires into becoming strong warriors and berserkers to fight monsters, while others prefer a simpler life, aspiring to become pharmacists and other non-combat class professionals. Years ago, a virtual reality game named Eternal appeared in the world. Because of its brand new experience and extreme euphoria from its realistic graphics, people started losing themselves in the game. As a result, more and more people entered Eternal. But one day, disaster struck the world. The surface of the planet expanded thousands of times, and a large number of secret realm maps descended upon the Earth. Countless monsters and other races appeared. The game, Eternal, had merged with reality. As a result, the world adopted game-like mechanics, allowing people to level up and change their classes to increase their power and fight back against monsters. Our protagonist, Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi transmigrated into this world a year ago, which basically means he got isekai'd. His mother had passed away before he could remember, and his sister, Zhou Yun, suddenly fell victim to a strange disease untreatable by normal doctors. The only way to sustain her life was through low-level priests. To keep his sister alive, Zhou Yi had to sell everything he owned and beg his relatives for money. Since the cause of her disease remained unknown, Zhou Yun was constantly on the verge of death. As the treatments were only temporary, the medical fees kept rising, and his income from part-time jobs was no longer enough. He had to awaken a powerful combat class to earn enough money to afford a higher-level priest. The class awakening ceremony begins. A level 24. Mage stood before the students, urging those whose numbers were called to step onto the magic formation one by one. With a wave of his wand, the magic formation released an incredible amount of energy. Everyone was in awe of the mage's power. For a powerful mage like him to oversee a class awakening ceremony, he had to be earning at least a six-figure salary. Li Xiangyang, the homeroom teacher of the 5th class, began calling the students one by one. There were thousands of possible classes that one could awaken, but in the class awakening ceremony, only 3 types would appear. In this monster-infested world, combat classes were the most respected. On the other hand, life-type classes held the lowest status and were ridiculed by society. A student shouted in frustration, "Not even a single combat class? What rotten luck." According to statistics from previous years, around half of the students should have been able to awaken combat classes. One by one, the students stepped forward until finally it was time for our protagonist to awaken his class. His name was called. Some students encouraged him, telling him to do his best, while others muttered, "It's unfortunate that academic performance and stats don't determine class awakenings." It all comes down to luck. Anyone can be a dark horse. Zhou Yi, the class representative, had excellent academic results, and all of his stats were above average. Many expected him to awaken a remarkable class. A teacher's rivalry. The 6th class homeroom teacher, Tang Tianjun, teasingly asked Old Man Li, "How many of your students awaken combat classes?" Li responded, 16. Tang Tianjun laughed in his face and boasted, "My class already has 21 combat class awakenings. One of them even awakened a rare class. That's enough to fill my quota for the yearly examination." Meanwhile, the students noticed that Zhou Yi wasn't moving. Ears spaced, a mysterious awakening. Suddenly, a blinding energy enveloped Zhou Yi. His necklace began glowing with a brilliant light. Energy seeped out of it, spreading across the surroundings. System energy detected. System activating loading complete. The strongest class support system activated. A notification appeared before Zhou, Kawaii, starter, gift. Acquired S+ grade talent, protection of the sacred angel. Would you like to receive it? Zhou Yi was stunned. That necklace, he had bought it from a street stall in his previous life. It had accompanied him through his transmigration. He had always suspected it might be a treasure, but after failing to activate anything from it, he eventually gave up. Yet now, it had activated a system and granted him an incredible gift. Talent Awakening. Protection of the Sacred Angel. SS+. Affinity with light type greatly increased. All light type and divine type skills will be significantly amplified. In this world, talents were graded from F to S. The higher the grade, the stronger the effects. And most importantly, the 3 classes that would appear during the awakening ceremony would be closely tied to a person's talent. The students were in disbelief. This was impossible. Something like this hadn't happened in centuries. Could it be that he couldn't awaken a class? Then suddenly, a brilliant ray of light struck the magic formation beneath Zhou Yi. Golden light showered the entire ceremony. A divine phenomenon. The headmaster and the mage were mesmerized by the talent awakening phenomenon. A 6-winged archangel descended from the sky. The angel flew toward Zhou Yi, leaving the protagonist in utter disbelief. The angel spoke, "The light is your faith and the source of your power. Under its guidance, the sacred light will always protect you and burn away all evil. And I will always protect you by your side." At that moment, an overwhelming surge of energy flooded Zhou Yi's body. He had awakened. Everyone was shocked. Receiving a new talent at a class awakening ceremony, this was insane. The classes appeared. 3 silhouettes emerged in the air. They were hidden classes: Mage of Light, a pure DPS class with overwhelming attack power but weak self-defense; Sacred Priest, a healing-focused class with powerful life-saving abilities and the unrivaled skill of resurrection, but weak in combat; Saint Knight, a well-rounded class with balanced offense, defense, and support abilities. While the Mage of Light had powerful attacks, it was too fragile. The Sacred Priest had immense healing potential, but it was overly reliant on others. However, the Saint Knight was balanced. It had both combat abilities and powerful buffs. And most importantly, Zhou Yi's S plus light affinity talent made the Saint Knight class a perfect fit. Thus, he chose Saint Knight. The Oath of a Saint Knight. A gigantic knight appeared before Zhou Yi, raising and swinging its massive hammer. The knight chanted, "Humility, honesty, bravery, empathy, responsibility, to commit acts of glory, to pursue justice." That is what it means to be a Saint Knight. As Zhou Yi absorbed this brilliant energy, he was officially congratulated for awakening the Saint Knight class.